Hello viewers, welcome to this channel, which is a new channel called Joe Moy's channel. It is a channel that aims to focus upon the reality of our being, that aim to pose questions relating to what we consider reality and try to probe into areas of the unseen, areas of metaphysics, areas of abstract reality, in order to understand whether reality is based on what surrounds us or whether reality is far different from the material sense of reality. This is an area that science appears to avoid in the physical science, and it is an area where science has taken us, because what science has done is that it has broken down the material sense of reality into smaller segments of particles, to a point where it has gone to the smallest particle element, which they then pose to us, or then present to us as what constitutes the building block of matter in the particle called a quark. But then they continue to tell us that they suspect that a quark is composed of three pockets constituting of energy in its most pure form, which then tend to imply that the material sense of reality in its most elementary particle element is composed of energy, compressed energy, to form the different matter that we see around us. Now, this has sort of come to a loggerheads with what metaphysics tend to present us in relation to the abstract reality, and this is the area that I want you viewers to join with me, so that we can probe deeper and try to understand and try to cut through the dichotomy between the material sense of reality and the abstract sense of reality, and then come to a sort of a credible conclusion based on intellectual evidence as to what constitutes the true reality. Now, if I may just point out, as we continue to what science is telling us, there is a book, and this is a very, very important book. It is a book that I would recommend every viewer to read it. It is free through on the internet, as long as you adhere to the terms and conditions. It is a book written by a compilation of over 15 of the world leading scientists, led by a scientist called Gladfelder. The book is known as Information, Consciousness, and Reality, and it is also regarded as the book of nature. To begin with, if I may just quote page 22 at the introduction of the book, where Gladfelder says, "But how can you trust this emergence of a world?" And this is the material sense of the world, based on what we see. If you look behind me, there is an ocean. There is sort of the world, stones, pavement, plastic, window glass, and everything that surrounds us. And this is what Gladfelder is asking: how can you trust this emergency of a world? Can you be certain of the accuracy of the perceptions you are experiencing and the faithfulness of the memories in your mind? He continued to pose. Are you perhaps just a brain kept alive in a vat, in a dark room, receiving fabricated electrical impulses, simulating it into perceive a fictitious world? Or did you never actually wake up? Are you experiencing an episode of false awakening, the phenomenon of dreaming that you woke up, where the vividness and crispness of the conscious experience trick you into believing its authenticity? Or would you be inhabiting a simulated reality designed to emulate a true reality? Or are you currently incarcerated in a psychiatric institution and your mind is hallucinating an entire world of fiction in order to not have to face its own pathology? The array, then he concludes, the array of conceivable alternative explanations for your experience of a reality can be frightening. Now, he continued, and this is one of my favorite. He continued in the below paragraph to say, imagine for a moment that you're a member of an isolated society. You are never exposed to the collection of human ideas shaping the world today. As a child, your inquisitive mind, exploring your inner and outer reality, was never influenced by human thought traditions spanning several millennia. You were never told any tale sourced from the competing brands of theology we today find distributed around the globe. You never felt the existential angst that can be triggered by contemplating philosophical problems related to existence, knowledge, reality, and the human mind. You never felt exalted and overwhelmed by the vastness of understanding contained within the edifice of science. Now, this is what the scientist Gladfelder is telling us. And if you continue to read the book, it will pose another question and say that and actually sort of challenge you and bring you to a situation whereby, if supposing that you are connected, you are connected, or you have come into connection with the true aspect of reality of God, in a way that God has then revealed to you the true nature of reality, which is totally different from the reality that we perceive as the true reality, which constitutes of the reality of the scene, the reality of the five common sense, which is the reality of the sense of sight, the reality of the sense of what you hear in sound, the reality of what you smell, taste, and touch, and all that sort of thing. Now, would you then look into a way of enlightening the world and those the ignorance of the people who believe in this material sense of reality? Or would you lock yourself in a psychiatric sort of word, as he has stated, as we have actually read? Or what would you really do? This is what this channel is about. It is a channel that probes science, as I have stated. And when I talk about science, I'm talking of the physical science in physics, where initially science started by probing into the material sense of being, and within that material sense of being, manage to break down what we see into their smallest constituent particle element, until they came. Initially, they told us that the smallest particle element was an atom, and then they went beyond the atom as invention of new microscopic instruments came to being. They were able to veer into those atoms to find that the atoms themselves are made up of other smaller particles within them, and that within each of those smaller particles within the atom, they are also made up of smaller particle elements, and on and on and on, until now they have come to the understanding, or to a point where they have managed to discover the smallest particle element, which they call the building block of all matter, which is the particle element known as a quark. Now, but when they go beyond the quark, as I stated earlier on, they come through to the understanding that that quark is made up of three pockets constituting energy in its most pure form. And what science is telling us is that this energy in its most pure form has intelligence to know what other energy to join with in order to form all the different matters that we see in the physical world. So it is energy in its most pure form. It has intelligence, which means that and the most the most pure intelligence in order to know which energy to join with to form what. And they also tell us that this energy is omnipresence, that it is everywhere presence within the entire universe. Now, this is science telling us, but when science now reaches that area, it is not able to go further, because when we get to omnipresence, we are talking of infinity. And science believes that the human mind has no ability to comprehend infinitudes, to comprehend infinity, and as a result of that they leave that to that point. And if you go on to reading this book from Gladfelder, Information, Consciousness and Reality, or as I stated, the Book of Nature, it will show you that science has crumbled, science has gone up and up and up with discoveries, with more intelligence, until it has reached the peak, the epic of material sense of intelligence, to a point where it cannot go any further. And that peak aspect of natural science, or the intelligence of natural science, is the peak of now the quark, where now they come to energy in its most pure form, which is omnipresence, and they cannot go further to explain anything from that perspective. Now, what my metaphysics has done is to pick up from that epic, from that peak of material sense of reality, to be able to explain beyond the material sense of reality in what metaphysics call abstract reality. And this is what this channel is about. This is what this channel will be teaching you. It is what the presenter of this channel will bring over to you and present to you, and not just present to you, but invite you to have a discourse, to discuss about this realm of intelligence, and to try and understand more than what meets the eye. So join me as we continue with this program. In my next program, I will explain more about metaphysics. I will explain more about why science has crumbled, why science has failed. And from there, we shall continue to the understanding of intelligence, of reality, the reality and the truth of existence. We shall progress on to the understanding of infinities, to the understanding of eternity, and to the understanding of immortality, to the understanding of incorporeality, and on and on. So please subscribe, like this channel, subscribe to the channel, and also share it with like-minded people that you know, that you believe may benefit from such discourse as presented to you this afternoon. Thank you very much, and adios, amigo.